What's up, everybody? What's going on? This is our first Throne Room Live. I'm trying to wait for some people to get in. We're going to have a good conversation tonight. Good conversation. As we know, what's been trending lately is the big conversation on was Puerto Ricans 50-50 with blacks creating hip-hop. I want to get you guys' views. I want to get the people talking. I want to get the people in the room. Let's have a conversation about this tonight. So lately we've seen Lord Jamal speak on this topic. We've seen Fat Joe. Much respect to the both of those guys. We've seen MC Shan. For those that keep up with our platform, we've already had Grandmaster Caz already stated what it was. And we just want to get this conversation open because this is an epic conversation. Let's get some people in the room and let's talk about this. This is my first time going live. It's going to be many more after this. I'm trying it out. Let's see how this works out. Hey, what's going on, everyone? Got some people coming in, trying to get, everybody topic. Say your thoughts. Let's speak about it. We talking about was Hispanics, was Puerto Ricans 50-50 with blacks on creating hip hop. So me personally, I've been watching this debate go back and forth, and I think it's something that we need to really speak about. For those who have watched our platform again, Grandmaster Caz has spoke on this. For you guys that did not see that, I think that you should really check that out. The Grandmaster Caz interview is magnificent. The first MC we've had on, Coke Rock, shout outs to my brother, Coke Rock, shout outs to my brother Grandmaster Caz. Those are both my guys. They have all kind of spoke on this, and that's the first MC, Coke Rock, and we already know the history of Grandmaster Caz, one of the forefathers of this whole entire movement that we call hip hop. We've heard Karis once speak on it, and it's a topic that we need to get on right now. So I want y'all to put your comments in, you can super chat me direct questions and I will answer. Let's have a conversation about this. Where do you guys sit with that? Does everybody else hear me? Okay. How's that? That better for you guys? So let's get inside the comment section. Let's talk about it. What do you guys take on it? Anyone who want to ask me any direct questions tonight, I will be answering. You could super chat me, and I will answer or direct questions as well. But the topic tonight we want to discuss were Puerto Ricans 50-50 in the making of hip hop. Were they 25-75? You know, what's the real story? What's the real answers of that? And I will give you my take on, you know, how I see it. Can you hear now? Okay, great. Waiting for you guys to jump in the comments so I could elaborate on this. So let me tell you how it was basically for me growing up. Um, I didn't come in the Grandmaster Cast era, and I came much later. So uh, the start of hip hop for me would be pretty much the Run DMC slash LL Cool J era, the Crush Groove era. That was my introduction into hip hop as a little child. So that's where I'm coming with it. But as you guys know, my brothers Grandmaster Cass, Coke Rock, and others have educated me on how it all started. And we've had these questions on the platform, and they have been answered. If you check out the interviews, the full interviews with these guys. Now, for me, this is what I would say. When I came into the era of hip hop was, like I said, around the Crush Groove time, LL Cool J time, Rock the Bells, like that was one of my first rap songs I ever heard, Public Enemy, soon after, that's my era of the beginning of hip hop for me. Now, for me personally, this topic is semi redundant to me a little bit because we are all God's children, and I hate, and it really disturbs me when the narrative is painted to separate us. So that's for one. Let me put that out there, so there's no confusion in that. I have Latino brothers that are my brothers. As you know, my partner his name is Vernick. He's Latino, but I don't see him any different than me. He's a black man to me. And I think that's where the problem actually derives from. Is who do you identify as, and who are you identifying as? So when we already put the separation of is Puerto Ricans 50-50 with blacks, what are we saying? So we're saying Puerto Ricans are not black? So, for me, that's where it really hits the chord. Now, if you are going to say Puerto Ricans are not black, that's the core of this conversation. So let's get in these comments. Let's talk. So, again, that would be the core of the topic. How do we identify ourselves as? Do we identify ourselves as all Black Americans? And what do you identify Black as? Let's, be correct with it. You know, um, the brothers that I grew up with from children that was Latino, they identified themselves as Black. They was my brother. You couldn't tell them that, they was different from me or I was different from them. We identified as the same people. And those, from my understanding, are the ones who participated at the time in hip hop. Now, as far as Grandmaster Cass go, as you could pull up my interview, shout outs again to my brother, he said that it was far from 50-50. He said that the Hispanics, that he had a couple close Latino friends. He said this right on the show, and he said that had a lot to do with everybody thinking that they was a part of hip hop. But he said he had to teach them hip hop. You know what I'm saying? And they was down with hip hop because they was down with him. So that's how Grandmaster Cass actually broke it down, that they was not 50-50 if we're separating. Coke La Rock, he made clear on the platform that at that time in those days, we didn't know the difference of one another until we went to each other's family's house. When you went to their grandmom house or the mom house, that's when you realize that your partner that you've been rolling with the whole time might be of a different ethnic background, but when they was outside, they was all one. Everyone was identifying as the same thing. Now, they say hip hop is a culture. Okay. So a culture is a way of life of a people, correct? What people way of life is hip hop? That's what you have to ask yourself right there. Now, if you ask me and I break it down to you, it would be of Black Americans. I don't think that could even, really be denied. So now, again, we go back into what do you identify yourself as? Because the last time I checked, Puerto Rico is a territory of America. So those that are born in Puerto Rico that grew up here in the Bronx, grew up here in Harlem, mainly the Bronx, they would be American. The ones that went to school and took part in that, they would be American. Now, are they Black? Now, if we all go to the dictionary and just look up Black, we could already see that Black is anyone of skin complexion, of the melanin in the skin, is of a dark-skinned people. And it also goes further and states that Black people are those who have African heritage. Now, we should all understand that Puerto Rico absolutely have African heritage. So by the own definition of it, Puerto Ricans are Black. So again, what bothers me with this conversation is that when we go to separate the two, now when we go to separate the two, what happens is that it becomes a touchy situation, because those that grew up in New York, I don't know how it happened in other states, but those that grew up in New York, especially, during the birth of hip hop, there was a group, a lot of us fell into that play into that role of separating each other. And Harlem, where I grew up, we were completely segregated. You know, the the Hispanics was on the Lower East Side, and they was on the Upper West. That's the way it was, and on where I came from, it was predominantly all blacks. Now for the Bronx, my queen coming from the Bronx, she explains to me that it was a much different reality for the Bronx, and I understand that. You had Latinos, your next door neighbor, much more than we had in Harlem. But getting back to it, were they 50-50 with us with the start of hip hop? Now, again, when we do the separation thing, this is what's hurting, because when you say Puerto Ricans, the first thing you would think is Puerto Rico has its own culture. And guess what? No matter how much this might hurt someone or offend someone, Puerto Rico culture is not hip hop. We all know that. Like, come on, let's not, that's not. That their culture is something different. Now, those that were 50-50 in hip hop and the start of hip hop. Now let's just say, as we all already know, let's look at this now.
Bring up Jamaica too.
And I'm about to bring up Jamaica. This is the key thing. Now, let's really look at this. We've had Coke LaRock on here, who was the first MC. He's black from the Bronx, correct? He had a partner, right? His partner was Kool Herc from Jamaica. So where we going with it? It's hip hop before them, because we've been celebrating hip hop and the birth of hip hop as something that they did together. That was a black American with a black Caribbean.
Lord Jamar said that the Caribbeans and the Puerto Ricans weren't doing their culture when they did hip hop. They were doing black culture.
Absolutely, yes. And one day we will have Kool Herc on the platform, but I don't think he denies that. Kool Herc came here from Jamaica, and he was hanging out and watching the DJs, and he blended what he saw the DJs doing with something of the boom bap stuff they had back in Jamaica, and he started doing the parties. And from there, you had his partner, Coke LaRock, who got up on the mic and came up with this brilliant idea to start emceeing, rhyming words together in a pattern, talking slick on the microphone.
That's what it says. Kool Herc was imitating black culture, he said himself.
Absolutely, yes. But again, Kool Herc is black. See, that's the catch with this. You won't have that same argument with Caribbean people, because Caribbean people, without a doubt, understand that they're black. They're not trying to identify with something else. They know that they're black. I'm Caribbean. I know that I'm black, so you're not going to get that same, tug of war with Caribbeans, because Jamaicans, Bajans, Guyanese, we all know that we black. We completely understand that we black, and not saying that the Puerto Ricans don't understand that they black. But when you make this argument, you are separating yourself. Now, what I want to say is that black Americans created hip hop. Now, who would those black Americans happen to be? Of course, if you keep it where it's at, that black Americans created hip hop, of course you have some West Indians in there. You have some Hispanic in there, and you have what they so-called now FBAs in there, Foundational Black Americans. Them mixed together created hip hop, but those are all Black Americans. So I think, that's the core of this conversation. But I want to hear what you guys have to say. I want to hear where you.
The Caribbean folks disassociate themselves with Black Americans.
Okay, so again, I'm glad that you say that. So it's the parents. It's not the ones that, this is the key to it. The Black Americans are the ones that grew up here in the culture. They grew up here, they went to school here, they teachers are here. So those are the real Black Americans. Now their parents, the older generations, they don't separate themselves from Black people. Do they separate themselves from the culture that was going on in America? Yes, they do. And that's because they actually are coming from the land. They actually coming from Jamaica. They actually coming from Barbados and those other places. So yes, they separate themselves from Black American culture because that is not how they grew up. They didn't grow up in Black American culture. But did they children? Absolutely. We could go down the list of examples of that, from Biggie Smalls, to Big Daddy Kane, to, the list goes on and on and on. We'll be here all day naming, the Caribbean children that grew up in hip hop and actually got a big footprint in it. And that is what I heard Lord Jamar say, bring out the receipts, show the, evidence or something like that. Well, if we look at it, I would say that the footprint will be in hip hop from the culture of Puerto Rico if it was 50-50. Now, if that's the case, you got to point out the footprint to me, because the footprint of the Caribbeans could clearly be seen all throughout hip hop from the time of its existence, and the culture of Black Americans could be seen in the footprint of hip hop from the time it was created. Now, if we're talking about Puerto Rico as a culture, you got to show me. You got to show me what from that culture have the footprint in hip hop. My father is a Bayesian from Barbados, and my mother's Black American. Cubans are Black. These people are Black. Is once again, go to the let's define the word. Black people are a dark-skinned people. Before they was called Black, you know what they was called? They were called colored people. And let me give y'all some good understanding here. When they said that we were colored, they had to count us all together. And when they was counting us all together, they said that it was something like 11-1. That wasn't good. You see what I mean? So the best thing to come up with was to now take those colored people and separate them and give them all these different, banners to claim themselves up under, instead of understanding that they were all children of slaves, that they all are of the same lineage. They are all of the same heritage. So now you tell this group over here, oh, you're Jamaican, you're Bayesian, you're Puerto Rican, you're Dominican, you're all this. This is now to separate us. So now that 11-1 is no longer the same. But if you count us all together, we dominate. And you already know it's counted like that because let's be real with this now. In the slavery days, if the master had a child with a slave, was that child considered white? Or was that child thrown right to slavery like like everyone else? They even had a saying that they called it the one drop rule. You know what the one drop rule was? If you had one drop of black blood, you know, that you was black. That couldn't be found nowhere in your thing. It couldn't be found nowhere in your and that is actually just speaking on that, that actually ultimately makes no sense because everyone comes from black people. You know, all races, all colors of people, everybody comes from black people. But again, we are all God's children. We all come from God. That's the key thing. So let's not, you know, mix it up on this race stuff, you know, because that's all a plot from the devil. You know, the Satan is, that's how he's playing us. It doesn't matter what color skin you are. It matters what God you serve. So if you're serving the wrong God, worry about that.
It was not 50-50 because the few of the Hispanics that rocked with us had to go against their own people.
Absolutely, and I'm glad you said that, brother. So if you watch the interview with Grandmaster Cass, he speaks on that. Grandmaster Cass said that one of his friends, his bros that was down with him, to where it looks like it could have been 50-50. He said, you know, one of his brothers was Latino. He said his brother had to fight so many fights with his own people because he was hanging out with Cass. But Cass said it wasn't the other way around. Cass didn't have to fight a bunch of brothers because he was hanging out with a Latino brother. But he said his Latino brother said fights all the time. That they used to walk up to him and, you know, speaking to him in Spanish like, you know, what are you doing with this Moreno? You know, so, you know, we just being, you know, real about it. Now, what I was going to say, again, when I was growing up and I came in on the LL Cool J, Public Enemy, KRS-One, you know, Rakim, you know, that's my era. It didn't look 50-50 to me then. You know, I remember a rapper name, and I liked it, this guy. I think his name was Mellow Man Ace.
Somebody said it in the chat. That Metal Man looked black,
Mm-hmm.
but he was confused.
Exactly. I like to see. There we go. See, we on time together, brother. But yes, Mellow Man Ace. I was a little kid, you know. I liked the Mellow Man Ace. He was, you know, that was cool. And then he started doing a little Spanish part, you know, saying the lyrics in Spanish. That was cool. But that wasn't no 50-50. That was, he was like you know, heard of thing. That's what made it so catchy. Because yeah, you know, that was new to me, you know. But and I liked the Mellow Man Ace. So shout outs to wherever he might be right now. But yes, Mellow Man Ace was, for me, again coming in at the Public Enemy time, that's the only all right, Tito was from my block. Tito used to stay on my block. Much shout outs to my brother Tito. But Tito was one of us. Tito was black all day. You know what I'm saying? So, I don't know those that don't know their history with hip hop, but Tito was a old school rapper, pretty, big back in the days. Actually, a little before my time, but, he was staying on my block, at some point. And, yeah, um, if I look back at it, what I'm saying, Tito was a Latino, but he was, yeah, that was never came up in anything. He was a brother. He was completely one of us. He was a black American. But Mellow Man Ace is the first one that I could recall that was, making, music, rap videos and stuff like that. And I liked him. I liked the little video he had out. So going back to it, even when I was growing up, I didn't see it 50-50. What are we going to say that it was, it was 50-50 and they left, took a break and came back? I don't know about that. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't 50-50. And then I hear the argument that it's the b-boys, the break dancers, and the graffiti artists that made it 50-50 because there was much more of them than us. Now that goes beyond my time. So, cause when I came up, graffiti and breakdancing was actually, old, So I have to go again and refer to my brothers that was there. And Cass told me that, which on the show you'll see, if you check out the show again, check out that show with Grandmaster Cass, great show. The way he explained it to me, the majority of b-boys, the majority of graffiti artists, the majority of breakdancers were black. And that what happened was that, at some point, the Hispanics came in and, they started rising up high in it when we really started stepping back. And what I like about that is that I watch old videos, like, on YouTube and stuff like that. And, like James Brown and people even before James Brown, I clearly see them breakdancing, So, I'm like, and that's way before my time. That's my parents' time. But you could pull up those videos. Those guys are clearly breakdancing. You clearly see where it came from. So that's one thing. The graffiti artists, we already know. Obviously, we was been tagging up. You could go back all the way to the, Africa, and clearly that's been a thing that we do. We tag up, So I think that's something else to look at. But again, I say it over again. This is it's no, this is no hit at Puerto Ricans. To give you a little history, my sister, when I was like 6 years old, she married, Puerto Rican man straight from Puerto Rico, not from the United States. And she had, 3 beautiful kids by him, and my nieces and nephews. I loved them. Shout out to the Riveras in Texas. I love all of y'all. I really, would like to see y'all, spend some time with y'all. But yeah, that's my family. You know what I'm saying? So my brother-in-law, like we had to help him with English. Like real, real straight from Puerto Rico, in the army, you know. So I have no, this is nothing against them, you know.
Why does it hurt people? Why does it hurt people so bad that Black Americans created hip hop?
I don't know. That bothers me. You see, that is one of the things that also bothers me. They want to just take everything. You know what I'm saying? Like, like we already know that the blacks started rock and roll. We already know we started country music. We already know we started the blues. We already know that we started all of this. So now today, look at how a lot of those genres are looked at, and now we at a time where we really questioning that Black Americans started hip hop. And again, it makes no sense because, again, I like to look up stuff. You know, if you all right now just take a break and go to your phone, go to your computer or something, just right inside the computer, who created hip hop? And watch what the computer tells you. The computer tells you it was created by Black Americans and later came Latinos and Caribbeans. That's right there in the computer if you look it up. And like I said, and I'm with the people that actually did create it. Coke Rock sat right here, in the seat of the esteem. Grandmaster Cass. These people are the people that was, right there. And they've explained to me how it went for what I don't know. But I could speak on what I do know. On my time coming up, I didn't see it like that. It was not a 50-50 thing. It was predominantly our culture. And another thing Cass pointed out too, no matter what you say, even to today, it's predominantly a Black American thing. He said even today, even to this day. So how y'all all doing out there? All those that support the show, I have so much love for you. I'm trying to grow. I bring on guests that spark your thinking. A lot of people are not watching what they should watch, and I want to just plug some stuff. Every show we do here is epic, and it's a lot of stuff out there that you guys haven't looked at. I brought the captain of Rikers Island to you guys. The black captain of Rikers Island, and shout out to my brother Joel Parker. You guys will rather give something that had hundreds of thousands of views that have some negativity in it that I'm truly against. And then all the positive stuff you guys are not catching. Really check out that interview with Captain Joel, Captain Parker. That was an amazing, epic interview. Captain of Rikers Island. I brought y'all a decorated black detective. That interview he gave is epic. They gave so much information that is beneficial to us that, you have to look at these interviews. I brought y'all Coke Rock. I brought y'all Grandmaster Cass. You look at these interviews. These interviews are very epic. I brought you Cannabis. Check out these interviews. Shout out to my brother K Solo. These interviews are y'all are missing them. Y'all watch little clips, watch the whole interviews. These interviews are very good. I'm against negativity. I'm against that. I'm against that I'm not. This is not the dark side of YouTube, so called. They call it, I guess. We have enough of that. You know what I'm saying? I don't support any of that on this platform. And shout outs to my brother Fat Joe too. You know what I'm saying? I like Fat Joe a lot. You know, that's my guy. You know, and I for me, I look at Fat Joe as, you know, one of my brothers. I look at him as a black American, you know. So I want to make that clear, you know, in the light of all things. Not exactly, you know, I look at him as a brother. I don't identify him as other than me. And thank you all that's checking out the Christopher Rio's interview. That was a very, 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 very good interview. Please check that out. Shout outs to Christopher Rios. Those that don't know, that is the son of the legendary Big Pun. Again, I can't support any controversy. You know, if you see me ask questions on here or ask something to get it clear, I'm not a judge. I'm not, you know, we all have fell short of the glory of God. I'm not in judgment of anyone. So let me make that clear. But everyone have their truth, you know, and on here, you know, on this platform, you know, when they bring the truth and they say they truth, you know, I'm only human. If I, you know, I react to what I'm hearing on real time. I'm not fake. I don't, you know, this is not a made up thing. This is me, you know, and I react to things on a real time. But all parties involved, shout outs to everyone, and hopefully we get together, you know, and you know, as a unit, and stop letting these outside forces separate us, you know, because that's the only thing that happens. These outside forces are separating us, making us think that we're other than each other. And it goes very deep. I mean, now that I really want to say that again, let me be clear with this, because this is, we're all human, we're all children of God, and we all have a common enemy. And our common enemy is death and Satan. All of us. We all need to work together to find what is the meaning of this thing that we call life. What does God require of us? What should we be doing to save the children from realities that we've had? We all should be looking to make this world a better place. We have, all of us have an ample amount of time, and we don't know what that time is. So do we really have time to fight each other when we're not each other's enemy? We have a common enemy. I just wanted to make that clear. So again, getting back on this whole discussion of are Puerto Ricans 50-50 with blacks, you know, let's just all identify as God children, and that's including white people. We're all God's children, all of us. So y'all have any questions for me? Anything y'all might want to know about? This is my first live ever, talk to me, guys, I got love and respect for all of y'all that support the show and a regular people that keep up with me. I know a lot of you hit me on Instagram. I try my best. Everyone knows that I try my best to communicate with everyone that hit me on Instagram. I have so many people that hit me on Instagram, and I am an owner of a large company. I work 7 days a week, like 24 hours a day. I'm one of those types, so that's why you don't really see me have, much. I don't have much time. I have all my time is cut out to my children, to my kingdom, to the well-being of my family, and then to you guys. Who? Bimmy told me that. I mean, that's his opinion. Everyone is entitled to look. Everyone is entitled to their own opinion. You know what I'm saying? And, that's why we're having this discussion to really analyze it. You know what I'm saying? I've already quite analyzed it, and I will say it for those that just came into the chat that didn't hear earlier. We've had Coke Rock on this show. Coke Rock was the MC. Kool Herc was the DJ, even though Coke Rock DJ too. They were the start of hip hop. What you celebrate on that day in the Bronx, on that date, that was a party they was throwing. That is celebrated as the birth of hip hop. That was one Jamaican and one American black. I don't think you need to go any further. Let's, yeah, if it was 50-50, it should have been 50-50 right then. Much shout outs to Cuban Link. That might happen one day, but again, I'm not the author of controversy. This is not that type of platform. I have respect for Joe. I've been in Joe's presence, and he's been in mine several times. I like him. I think he likes me. I will hope, that he liked me. And I have love for everyone. I don't want it to ever have the appearance of the dirty side of YouTube, I think Cuban has a hell of a story, and I have respect for that brother too. I'm sure we would get along great, and that might happen one day. I do have connections to him, and yeah, I might get him on the platform one day, but I just don't. I don't. I'm not the author of confusion or participator, so I just leave it at that. If I do have Cuban on the show, it would not be, in the direction of bashing anyone or going down the same exact stories that we've already heard on YouTube him say a million times, so it would be in a different direction, because I just don't support. I just don't want to support confusion. Absolutely, yeah. We already said that it's supposed to be made up of the elements, and that would be the graffiti, the break dancing, the MCing, and all of those things were of Black American culture. So, like I said, this was my first YouTube live. I'm gonna. I didn't really go on Instagram to let everybody know that I was gonna do it today. So I'm sure it will be a lot more people in the room if I had. Bear with me. I'm new at this, but we're gonna get it down pat. Many people will be able now to go on and look at this later on and see it and make comments towards it and everything like that. It's so much I want to talk about on live though, so I will be trying this again, very, very soon. Um, I just want to again say shout outs to all parties involved. Lord Jamal's my brother. As a child, he was one of the first people that I had the pleasure of bodyguarding and doing security for with the Nation of Gods and Earths, um, with the FOA. I have memories, with these guys from a child, but I was already a big, strong guy at like 15 years old. I was like this size already, like probably bigger, more massive. Um, so that's the story that I like. They said, how was he doing the bodyguard for them? And I was a kid, but they didn't know. I was already 6'5", 6'6" at 15 years old. I was already like super massive, size of a doorway, at that age. And I was very, 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 very mature, very mature. So that's how. But shout outs to those brothers. Shout outs to KRS One. Shout outs to MC Shan. Shout outs to Fat Joe. Everyone, Grandmaster Cass, Coke LaRock, everyone that have commented and spoke on this subject. I just want to end it with, a higher consciousness of that, you know, two steps. First, Puerto Ricans are black. You know, for those that don't like that, for the Hispanics that hear me say that and be like they're not black, those are the exact ones that didn't have anything to do with hip hop. You know what I'm saying? The Hispanics that sit there and be like, yeah, I know I'm black. Those are the ones that they with us. So it's not even a topic of discussion. That's the one. And above that, we are all the same people. We are all children of God. We are all children of Adam and Eve, and the more thing that we should be focused on is that we give our life to the Lord, and that, we're that God sees us. God sees us as Adam, or he sees us as Christ. For those, that hear me say that and understand what I'm saying, much respect. That's how he sees us, as Adam or Christ. Either you, either you are in control by God, or you are in control by the devil, by Satan. That's the bigger thing to look at. Whoever is trying to separate us, whoever is trying to put us in categories, that's of the evil one. Only categories it's ultimately going to be are those that have given their life to Christ and those that have not. So I won't hold you guys up, no more. If you don't have any questions for me, if nobody have anything, I'll wait a couple more minutes, see if you guys want to ask me anything before I shut it down. I appreciate you taking out your time, coming through. This is my first live, so this was kind of special for me. I appreciate you guys. It's nothing but love and respect. Any questions? Anything y'all might want to ask me? And for those that don't know, I've heard so many silly comments. This is Sun and Shield. This is an alternative drink than alcohol. This is not alcohol. I do not promote alcohol. I created this drink with my partner Vernick and my wife because I was concerned on social media how we were promoting alcohol. And I myself at times have became a victim of it on social media. And I'm not perfect. I'm a work in progress. But alcohol is not good for our people. And, taking the moderations, people argue saying taking the moderations, it could be all right. But on this platform, I want to bring you guys something new, something different. And I have bought y'all Sun and Shield, created by the Throne Room. And I have all different flavors. I have gin, I have vodka, I have tequila, I have whiskey. And right now, in the making, we should be finished finalizing everything in less than 30 days. I have a selection of wines that's coming out, all non-alcoholic, great wine. I mean, wait till you taste it. And I have beer coming out, non-alcoholic, great beer. I mean, you won't even be able to tell the difference, So you could find this if you log on onto my channel. There's a box where, we sell, the non-alcoholic drinks. Those that have already purchased with, it's been plenty people. I thank you so much. I appreciate the support so much. I hope you enjoyed your drink. I look forward to you ordering more, and I really appreciate that. And I appreciate all of y'all. And again, I'm gonna be back on this again next time. I will go on Facebook, Instagram, and all that other stuff, and let everybody know I'm coming. Space Ghost let me know that that's why I should have did that first. But I'm new at this. We look forward to seeing y'all next time. There's so much we got to talk about. That y'all see that Trump thing almost took Trump out, like almost blew that head off. You know what I'm saying? We got to talk about that on live. I do a lot of Trump stuff. That those that watch the channel, we cover a lot of Trump stuff, and we have much more great interviews coming y'all way. I don't want to spoil it by telling y'all, some of the up and coming stuff, but stay tuned, man. Stay tuned. Most of y'all see. Let me let you know the direction I'm going as far as I know y'all see. I have like I've had the Hebrew Israelite brothers on, and I've had also the Rabbi Jewish black brothers on. That's where we're going with that. We're going to have every walk of life come on the platform from the top chain, the top of the top of the ladder, So if it's wherever it's going to be the top people that come on our platform, and they're going, and on this platform, I'm going to let them give their explanation. I'm going to let them give their stance, their belief, their conviction of who they are, their way of life, and that's for you guys. And in reverse, you guys know where I stand. Most of you do, and if you watch my pool pits, you'll see me go in the pool pit and, break some things down to you from my point of view and from where I stand. That's really great. You guys need to check that stuff out because
Breakdancing, like did breakdancing start first in hip hop?
the breakdancing.
So they're saying Puerto it's breakdance. It started with breakdancing, then Puerto Ricans
Mhm.
definitely were part of it. They 50-50.
No. All right, so breakdancing, as I said earlier, just go on some old James Brown and just go to your computer right now and just put in, blacks doing breakdancing in the 60s, the 50s, and stuff like that, and watch the videos, a ton of videos, you know what I'm saying? Like, you will see that was something that was in the rhythm and blues culture before it was in hip hop culture. James Brown, who everyone knows the high level of influence that he had on hip hop. Maybe some of you young guys don't know, but James Brown, he had a very, 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 very high level of influence in hip hop. Some would even go as far as to say he started hip hop, but James Brown was breakdancing. And there was others before him. They was clearly breakdancing.
Who's the most interesting person you've
Who's the most interesting person that I've bodyguarded? There's been so many. That's a really good question. I like that question. Wow, it's been so many people. I've taken care of a lot of government officials. So, I've taken care of plenty celebrities, but I've taken care of plenty government officials too. So I would say I take care of a lot of the rabbis too. That's very interesting too. A lot of the high up rabbis in the Jewish community. But if I had to think of some overall someone that that's a really good question. I've been impressed by a lot of different people, being close to them, seeing different things. A lot of high designers, you know, I've protected. Um, that's been very interesting. You know, I'm gonna be honest with you, I would have to say Robert Kennedy, when he came on the platform, I was in charge of the protection with all of that. When he came on the platform, he might have been one of the. He's definitely was in the top three people that I have did protection for that impressed me. It was something about that guy that his truthfulness and his honestness and um, his conviction to God and how he said he turned around his life and different things he said that made me know it was real. I will always have his impression, on my brain. Shout out to Robert Kennedy. Celebrity wise, I've taken care of so many celebrities, guys. That would be a hard. That would probably be really hard. That would be really, really hard.
You ever been in a life and death situation?
Oh yeah, plenty times. Yeah, a lot. It's a part of the business. Anytime you put on, anytime you're doing security, you're in a life and death situation, whether you realize it or not. Some people realize it, some people don't. You know what I'm saying? But I do high level security, so when I go out, I'm protecting people that, you know, someone could possibly do something to them or come to do something to them. So you're always in a life or death situation. And according to the way you move is what keep you safe. And I just want to answer that last one on celebrity. Again, oh, this person, yeah, like I said, Robert Kennedy sticks out definitely. You know what I'm saying? Of course, Rakim, Big Daddy Kane, they definitely stick out. 'Cause I was a kid when I was, involved with their, in line with protection with them, and they were superheroes at that time. For me especially, even though I was super mature, never smiled or said a word or was like trained on some other stuff, but I knew who they was, what I'm saying, inside, of course, Kane, I can't begin to explain to you guys that you have to be able to go back to 1989 to understand who Big Daddy Kane was, and it is to this day. You have to, it wasn't, hip hop wasn't like it is now, where you just got every, body in the world rapping and making money in albums and stuff like that. It was a few selective ones at that time, and Big Daddy Kane was, he was what it was. He was top of the food chain at that time. He was top three in the top three rappers, especially him, Rakim. All right, so I'm going to wrap it up for the night. I'm going to be back on live soon, maybe a couple days. We have more shows coming you guys' way, more pool pits. Definitely check out the pool pits. Those are very spiritual, very important. I'm giving good messages. Please, again, shout out to Captain Joel Parker. He did the Rikers Island interview. You guys have to look at that. Shout out to Grandmaster Cass. His interview is epic. K Solo, Benzino. Like, I can't even name. I don't even want to name shows because I don't want no one else to feel like, oh, he forgot us. No. If you have not seen the show, watch it. I wouldn't put it out there if it wasn't something that is beneficial to the spirit and the mind and the soul. All our shows that we do are very, 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 you know, we go there, on a higher level of consciousness, spiritual consciousness. So please check out all the shows. They're very good. And I appreciate you all. I'm get ready to shut down the kingdom for the night, and I try to see